every year for a couple of months, and he said he preached at a church, and he was the youngest person there at that church. So most of the churches are like that. In about 10 to 15 years, most of them will probably be gone.
Wow.
But Mito Church, I don't know why, but God is blessing us, and we are getting younger and younger and younger. And people are looking around saying, who are all these young people? Where did they come from? So we're definitely counting our blessings with that. That creates some challenges, of course, because we have some very, very faithful, loving people who have been there, who have served for a long time, and it's becoming a little bit disorienting for them. So trying to walk together as a community through that. But that's Mito. Of course, you know, a couple years ago, the tsunami and the earthquake really changed the whole face of the nation and also our work. Things that, you know, that's what the African missionaries do, not us. But having to hand out 3 diapers to a mom and say, these are your 3 diapers for the next 2 weeks until somebody else can come by, you know, or handing out that tomato, and this is the first tomato you've seen in 4 weeks, and that's your 1 tomato till we can get up with another shipment of tomatoes. So things like that that I had never thought that I would experience in Japan. A lot of the work as far as the relief is changing because most of the organizations have pulled out. And a lot of the people in the disaster area feel very abandoned.
Why would have they been pulling out? They feel like the work is, their role is finished? Or?
Yeah, most of it was just like the initial, the immediate, and it was never meant to be something long-term. And they say that the physical recovery will take at least 10 years. But of course the emotional and the spiritual is so much longer than that. And interestingly though, most of the people that are continuing to work in that are different Christian organizations, and people are noticing that it is the disciples of Jesus who are staying and walking with them. So that's been a really cool shift in Japan to see that. We're continuing to go every other week, and our work is mostly going into people's homes and just spending part of a day with them. That will end at the end of March, and then we'll have to make a shift, which I don't know exactly how that's going to work, because our commitment was a 3-year commitment in this form. But our proposal to the leadership will be that we continue to go at least once a quarter to visit. And in the Tohoku region in Japan, that would be, I don't know if you can look on the map, but there's Sendai, Morioka, and Hachinohe are the 3 churches of Christ in Japan. The Sendai church is almost non-existent. They meet once a month. There's about 6 people. Morioka, there's 1 lady left. The minister died, and one of the other members kind of quit her faith. So there's 1 lady there, and she actually is going to quit her job and move to Mito and be with us. So the church in Morioka will no longer exist in March. And then Hachinohe, there's about 10 people, 10 older people there. But we are continuing to go there to Hachinohe. And when the relief work officially ends, Mito Church will start sending groups to Hachinohe to be with that church, maybe once every 2 to 3 months to spend time with them. So that's kind of what's going on, sort of with the relief.
Can I ask a question that you already said you didn't know the answer to?
Sure.
But I think it's interesting. What's your feel, your Hiro's feel about Mito? Why are you experiencing what you're experiencing as a community? Why younger? Why are people coming or becoming part of this? What would be your feel of why?
What do you think?
From my experience, I grew up in Japan, and after high school I came to study in Abilene, Texas University. And after graduate, I worked in Dallas. I used to live really close from here. It's just, wow.
Great.
Cool.
Down
Where
the
did you
street.
live?
Yeah.
Just down the street from here. This bank, the Citibank, was his bank.
They still have my money.
Well, your money is supporting us. It's a foundation here, literally.
Yeah, I was working in Grapevine. There's a company there. That time, I didn't know God. I hadn't met God. I encountered the Christianity in ACU. That was really big shock because I didn't know about it. And I went back to Japan while I was still working here. I went back to Japan for 2 weeks vacation, but I got denied to get a visa, working visa. So I had to stay in Japan. Still, I had a job here and money there. With all of my stuff in that apartment.
Oh no.
Then I met Joel in Japan. One of my friends she still lives in Abilene. She was there in Japan for also visited her family. She's one of my best friends. She recommended me to go to Mito Church because, okay, you'll lose your English, so just go there because Mito Church is international church. You can still maintain your English. That's the reason I went. Start going to church and met Joel. Went to Cambodia with him. And earthquake and tsunami happened, and started this relief work with him, and start living with him, working with him. These past 3 years, I read Bible for the first time in my life. Well, I read in the Bible class in ACU, but I was not there, really. And I start understanding and knowing Bible and knowing God, knowing love, knowing peace, and forgiveness. Not only here, but here with the experience in Cambodia and relief work. And he has been such a blessing. He has been mentoring me in many ways. In Japan, we don't have that kind of relationship, really. We don't have life coach. We don't have mentoring in personal relationship. That then I feel I've been growing. That's the reason, one of the passion I have for young people. They don't have anyone, any relationship to direct their life. They are so directionless and feel a lot of pressure from the society, from the family. Okay, you have to do this, you have to live this way. But now, they need help. They need help. and church is, I feel it's a really good place for me. It's home. There are people full of love. The people know God's love so that they can love people, even though they don't like each other, but they can love. That is just so amazing. I feel so good to be there, to be with them. But the reality in church in Japan is most of the church is dying because aging. Most of the church in Japan is few of them doing it. Like Morioka Church is one person, and most of them got old. We just did a summer retreat of all Church of Christ in Japan. I think 80% or more than 80% is elder people. And we need to grow young people. I don't want church to die in Japan. Yeah, that's just my what I feel. And through experiencing Cambodia and really working and knowing God made me realize that a lot of brokenness in Japan, that I don't think people in Japan realize that is brokenness. We see poor country like Cambodia, because we can see, but brokenness in Japan is different. It's more like inside, committing suicide, like mentally, emotionally divorced of the marriage, depression, hikikomori.
Hikikomori is social withdrawal.
I've heard that it's really unique, especially like committing suicide, social withdrawal. They need help. I need help. We need help, but they don't notice that we need help. We're doing okay because we're rich country. We're wealthy. We have things, a lot of things to do, but we don't know what we need to see. We don't know how to live our life. I don't know. I want to change it. I want it to be changed. I want them to know God. I want them to know love. How to receive love.
Yes.
That's the answer to a passion for growing young people. Share what I experienced.
Thank you.
Ben Langford at the OC World Mission Workshop said, what is the question that people are asking? And then where does the gospel meet the question? And I have never forgot that, and I've thought about that over and over and over again in the context of Japan. And I feel like right after World War II, everybody was answering the question, what is truth? But I don't think that's the question that people are asking. And especially with the younger people in Japan, I feel like the question they're asking is, where do I belong? And how do I live my life? How do I live a life of significance that makes a difference for somebody else besides me? And then how do I do that in a way that honors and respects my family and my ancestors, which is a basic Asian, old Asian culture.